$40,000, $60,000. Honestly, by the end of this walkthrough, we stopped counting. The house looked like a cheap rental deal online, but hidden behind the price tag was years of neglected maintenance. And the craziest part, the repairs were going to cost more than the actual house. Welcome back to my channel, Rent and Repeat. Today we're walking through a property that almost became our next rental until we just started uncovering problem after problem after problem. We're talking major capital expenses, deferred maintenance everywhere, and repair estimates that completely destroyed the numbers. In this video, I'll show you exactly what we found, how to analyze properties like this, and why walking away from a bad deal can sometimes be the best investment decision that you've ever made. So let's take a look at the property. This is it here, and we're in Akron. This is 1171 Duane Avenue in Akron. It's a 3-bed, 1-bathroom, 1-bath, 1,201 square foot property. It last sold for $83,000 in 2007. What I liked about this property, the annual property taxes are pretty low. It's a 3-bed, 1-bath, which I would guess probably would do $1,000 to $1,100. This is not in the greatest section of Akron, if I'm being honest. This would be just north of Firestone Park, and Firestone Park's a good part, but north of Firestone Park near 76, you're getting into more touch-and-go neighborhoods. Some neighborhoods can be fine, other neighborhoods not so fine. So what looked like a good house in an okay area at a fantastic price soon turned out to be anything but fantastic. We were actually in contract with this house. We had settled on, I think, $50,000, and I knew that there was going to be some deferred maintenance, but did not know exactly to what extent I was getting myself into. We were in contract with this house about a year ago, okay? And from the pictures on the MLS, didn't look too bad. The roof looked a little questionable. We'll get to that later. At a quick glance, the flooring and the interior looked like it was in pretty good shape. But I will tell you this, one kind of sneaky thing that people will do is they'll take pictures of the inside of the property after any type of updates like this click-type floor is done. The issue was this was done some time ago. A renter had been in there and kind of beat up the floor, to be completely honest. It wasn't bad, but it certainly wasn't good. It's probably good enough to get another tenant in there, but certainly did not look like it did in the pictures. So we keep scrolling through, and the property doesn't look too bad. There's some scuffs on the baseboard, scuffs on the wood, but I mean, nothing super bad at this point in time. Everything is looking pretty good so far, which is what attracted us to this house. Missing a little the facing right here, and not in the best shape ever. No appliances, which would be an extra cost. But again, at a low price like that, everything else being equal, I would have been okay with that. I do want to focus down. Let's keep scrolling here because the pictures are a lot of the same. Pictures of a nicely updated home before the tenant came in and kind of beat it up a little bit. And the bathroom was in surprisingly decent shape. Two big issues, though. Let's go ahead and just skip through. The one thing, typically there's not a ton of pictures of the basement, okay? But the basement was one of the big problems. The foundation was in really bad shape, and the walls were very, very bowed. I had concerns that when we walked the property before putting down an offer, that the walls were going to have some issues. My thought was, again, I'm not a basement expert, but my thought was maybe we can reinforce the walls. That won't cost it's not going to be, I don't want to say it won't cost too much, but a relatively inexpensive repair compared to completely overhauling the basement walls. Well, it wasn't that simple. We hired a building inspector to come out, and at the same time the building inspector came out, we got the name of a basement wall and foundation guy to come out and evaluate the property and give us an estimate for any type of repairs that he would see. I got a phone call from him before I even got to the property when the when the building inspectors were there, and he said, look, we got to talk. And the price that we had ended on with this property was either 50 or 50, I believe it was 55. Again, this has been some time. His estimation to repair everything was going to be either $35,000 to $45,000. So immediately, that's a really, really, really big problem. I get to the property, the building inspector's there. He had done some preliminary work of the house. He started with the roof, and he's like, well, we need to talk. I don't know how far you want me to go with this, but he said, the roof's in bad shape. You're going to need a new roof within the next year or two, more than likely. We found evidence of active termites in the basement. That's going to need to be addressed. And they also found, I don't know how I missed this, but the wiring wasn't completely updated in the basement. They still had the presence of knob and tube wiring in the basement. And so all of that together, the repairs of that were going to exceed what we were going to pay for the house. And obviously, that's not a real good situation. The other thing too, I have yet to find, and I haven't exhausted all the resources yet, but the two insurance carriers that we use for the properties that we have will not insure a home with knob and tube wiring. So that was a big deal breaker for me, because I'm not going to buy a home that's in really bad shape, number one, and then not be able to insure it. So many red flags that kind of went. I didn't see them right off the bat, and that's one thing that's important to keep in mind. This isn't my main source of income. This isn't my area of expertise. I'm still learning. I'm still trying to figure some of this out. And with this situation, I really missed a lot of things. But now I know going forward what to look for, and to pay more careful attention to some of the fine details. A friend of mine showed me what to look for with regard to bowed walls, okay, and issues like that. And I did. I brought. They may think I'm weird, but I brought a 4-foot level with me. And basically, the level sits flat up against the wall. Everything's probably fine. If it will move like this, then there's potentially issues. But then the question is, are they really bad or terribly bad? And I don't know the answer to that. The building inspector showed me what to look for in terms of termite damage, how to spot that in the future. But long story short, we were out time. We were out almost $480, I think, for the building inspection. Wasn't particularly happy about this, but had we bought the property without a building inspection, I'd have been even more upset, because this would have been a terrible, terrible deal. And like we said before, sometimes walking away can be the absolute best thing. This would have been a nightmare. I would have been extremely upset, because this would have just crushed any type of potential returns. There's no way to end up on the positive end of the situation with this. The property owner is either just going to have to stick with renting this out, or he's going to have to take a bath on the property. I don't know what he's going to do. We walked away from it, and it hasn't sold since. But again, I try to be very careful. I try to be very cautious. I don't want this to have any more headaches than the real estate venture. I don't want this to have any more headaches than it has to. And this would have been a huge headache if there ever was one. So do your homework, be very careful, always do the building inspections, and walk away if it doesn't feel right.